Hi, everyone. We are so excited that you are here today. We are here to tell you that EdTech cares. And so we are ready to compare Google Classroom to Canvas. And you are very welcome. Do not blame Christy for this lovely Care Bear theme. I was super excited to choose it, but she went along like a trooper.
Misty is great for a theme. We are so excited that you're here this afternoon. We hope to spend a little time with you comparing these two products as we make the rollout to high school Canvas next year. Hopefully you're going to see that one product is just as easy to use as the other, just a little bit different. And we'll try to show you all the great things about it today. If this is your very first YouTube Live with us, you should see us on the video screen, kind of like this slide, and then a chat feed on the right-hand side. We like for you to have the chat feed open because we engage with you that way during training. And so if you don't see it, there are Oops, I guess I started a timer there. There are a few things that we need you to do, and so we'll tell you those right now. So if you don't have the chat window, that just means that you've never created your Keller ISD YouTube channel. So to do that, you're going to start with your avatar in the top right corner of your screen. Now, yours is not actually going to have a picture. I pasted that picture there. For some reason, our picture links in Keller ISD are broken. So just hover till you see the circle, the profile circle that should be your picture. Then choose Create a Channel. The next screen, you'll see your name right here. Choose this side. You'll have two options. Choose the one with your name and click select and save and continue. It should pop you right back into the YouTube window with the chat feed. If it doesn't, you may need to go up to your top left and refresh your screen, or actually return to kellerisd.net/kickstart. Again, those steps are your profile circle that's invisible. You create a channel, select the side with your name, save and continue. So join us in the chat feed. We want to welcome you there.
So a couple of different things that we need from you as a YouTube Live participant. If you are here for EQ Learning, for the EQ credits, please watch the entire live event. Introduce yourself in the chat window and tell us what school you're from, or just where you're from if you're not from one of our Keller ISD schools. Welcome. Submit at least one comment or ask at least one question during the live event. And at the end, you're going to be provided a form for the EQ credit. And then you need to fill out that form within 2 hours of the Kickstart event. This ensures that we're able to get you credit in a timely manner. And it also respects our time as well. So we are really excited that you're here today.
All right, so start introducing yourself in the chat. We are glad you are here. Today, my name's Christy Harold. I'm one of your EdTech facilitators in Keller ISD, and this is my partner,
Misty Shea. I'm also Educational Technology in Keller ISD.
And we're happy to be sharing this with you. So I'm going to start with something that's pretty simple, access. But before I do, one thing I want you to think about before we start this training, and here's where you're going to use your chat window first. Well, you hopefully you added your name for us in your school, maybe. I would love for you to share with me your confidence level in making the transition to Canvas on a level of 1 to 5, or on a scale, excuse me, of 1 to 5. 1 being you don't have any confidence in doing this transition, and 5 being you could teach this. You can take Missy and I's place next week. We would love that. 1 to 5, how are you feeling about the transition to Canvas? We would love to hear all of it because we are here to help you through this transition. And so when we know how you're feeling, we can better provide you services that will help you build this confidence to do this next year. All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about access. In Google Classroom, you typically probably access Google Classroom through either your waffle and the classroom icon. You might have gone to classroom.google.com and accessed your Google Classroom that way. We want you to know that for Canvas, you're going to access Canvas through kCloud. So Canvas is one of the apps on your kCloud. You can do all kinds of things in kCloud, like right click and favorite it, and it'll have this great star. It'll live at the bottom, so it's fast for you to get to every day. You can move it around till it's the first app. However you want to get to it each day, it's going to be through kCloud. All right, Misty, do you want to switch screens? How do you want to do this part?
I will switch screens, even though that was
Awesome.
really hard for me to say. Let's try that better.
Okay, while you're switching screens, I'm noticing that you guys are 1s and 2s. I've got a 3.8. Way to go. You could maybe teach this next week. So we're glad to have you guys. Sounds like you feel like you're novices or beginners at this, and hopefully we can ease some of those fears today.
Actually, Christy, since it's just a very basic one, I'm gonna let you keep on that screen just to kind of explain it. I'm not gonna go to those two. For your dashboard, that is in Google Classroom, you had your course cards. And then in Canvas, it's the same thing. You're gonna open up to your Canvas instance and you're gonna see you have course cards. And there's gonna be one tile per every content you teach. So if you teach English 1 and English 3, you're going to see a course card for English 1 and you're going to see a course card for English 3. As opposed to in Google Classroom, you had a first period, second period, third period, fourth period, fifth period, all of English 1 and then also of English 3. So that's a little bit of a difference. You'll probably have a little less course cards in Canvas than you had in Google Classroom. And then also your courses are automatically rostered by Keller. So you no longer have to add students in yourselves. Keller will do it for you. So that's a woo.
A woo for Canvas. Yay. All right. I'm going to start sharing my entire desktop because now we'll kind of look at the slides on the left. Hopefully you guys can see. And then I have Canvas opened on the right. All right, let's talk about adding students to a course, which Misty just mentioned. In the past, you may have used a class code if you manually created your courses in Google Classroom. You may have invited your students by their email link, or there was a link option in Aries. I never tried that because I never had rostered courses, but I think that it did work. So you had kind of some varied options of getting your students into your Google Classroom class. In Canvas, your students are going to be automatically rostered through Aries. If you create a manual course, like let's say you do a club and you want to have a Canvas course for your club, or you have an extracurricular and you want a Canvas course for your extracurricular, if you manually create a course, you will have to manually enter students. And to do that, you're just going to use the people button. So we'll go look at that. I'm going to open a sandbox course, which if you came to our PLCs, we've asked all of you to make because that's a great place to play around. And I'm going to click on the People tab in this list of course navigation. I have all these things I can do in the course. And I'm going to click on People. And to add people, I just click the plus people button, and I'm going to add my students by their Keller ISD email address. I'm going to choose their role as student and then next, and it will add them if I manually enter them. So just remember, manually entered courses, you'd have to manually enter your students.
Awesome. So I'm going to let Christy, if you don't mind, kind of showing. I'm going to talk, and you can click since you're already in the Canvas course. Adding co-teachers it's the exact same way. So through the people and the navigation in Canvas, you have the option to also add teachers. It's just dropping down. You'll add them. One thing I do want to a best practice for Canvas. Canvas prefers you do it through the login ID. Christy, will you click on the login ID in the center there? Because sometimes the email address, depending on how it's associated with Canvas, it just gets grouchy. But if you do login ID, everybody in Keller uses their email address to log in. It's just a fail-safe way. It'll always take it with the other teacher's complete email address. You'll drop down the role. We recommend making them a teacher because then usually if you have a co-teacher, you want them to help you with the grading and you want them to help you with course design maybe, and essentially have a lot of the same functionality as you as the actual teacher as well. So we do recommend giving them access as a teacher because that grading component on some of the other options, it's not there. That's the stuff it starts limiting. And usually your co-teacher, you definitely want them to help grade. And then you'll just add, and then they will be added to your course.
Couldn't find it. I didn't use a real email address.
But yes, it'll say, hey, I found them, put them in. And you can add multiple at a time. So you'll just email address, comma, email address, comma, email address, comma. So when Christy was showing you that you could add your students manually, if you have an Excel spreadsheet of all of their emails, you could just copy all that, make sure there's a comma in between, and then you can add all the students at one time. So manually adding them for like a club or like dance, if you're gonna have a place to send out communication, anything like that, Canvas is a great tool for that.
Okay. All right, classes versus sections. So in Google Classroom, like Misty said earlier, you probably had one class for every period of your day, first period, second period, third period, whatever you were teaching, you probably had a Google Classroom class for that. You have more options in Canvas. So when Canvas rosters, if you teach English 3 all day long, that's the only subject you teach, you're going to get a Canvas course with all of your gen ed sections, and you're going to get a Canvas course with all of your SPED sections. We can merge those however you would like. If you would like to maintain one Canvas course for the year with all of your students in it, they'll be separated by sections within the course, so you can differentiate for due dates or even for accommodations and modifications, even for class period because we're on the odd even schedule. Or we can leave all of it separate and just join your gen ed and your SPED students by class period. Now, if you teach more than one subject in a day, you teach English 3, you also teach English 4, then those courses would come in differently. So your English 4 gen ed users would be in the same course and your English 4 SPED users would be in the same course. So you have options for combining or keeping separate, however you would like for that to be in Canvas. That helps with content creation because you're only creating content once, but you're pushing it out on the dates you want to push it out to certain users.
Awesome. Announcements. So in Google Classroom, you were very familiar with the stream. And the stream was just on that first page when students logged in, and it was kind of a stream of everything. When you added an assignment, it was in the stream. When you added an announcement, it was in the stream. So in Canvas, announcements are its own thing, and it's kind of a global thing. So you can actually set it to where announcements are the first thing the kids see when they get in. They'll see their announcements and then whatever else is in your course. So it's kind of really cool. But everything that we're showing you today in Canvas, a lot of it you'll get to by that left navigation, and announcements is right under the home screen. So when you click on announcements, adding in an announcement is just, again, that blue button. You're going to see that blue button a lot of times in Canvas, and adding content to it. And Christy, your next slide, I think, is actually adding content to announcements. So you are already going strong on how to add content to the announcement.
I think my next slide is actually adding content to assignments.
Okay, so you know what? Then I will go ahead and talk about content.
Okay.
So you'll notice this looks exactly like a Google Doc. So you have all of that bold, italicized, centering, adding links, adding videos. So for an announcement in Canvas, you can add almost anything you want, have any kind of coloring, any kind of formatting, because essentially I like to tell people it's just like a word processor. It's like a Word doc or a Google Doc. It has all the same functionality. Some extra stuff though, you can add, you can embed a Google Doc into this. You can embed a Google slide presentation. You can embed some external tools. So you have a lot of extras in an announcement. And the cool thing is it's there. They don't have to click on it and open it in another app. It fully embeds into that announcement. Another option like you had with Google is you can pick which sections, or meaning what periods or students you want this to go to. You can delay it. So if you want to put all your announcements, because you want to announce every single Thursday that there's a quiz on Friday, you can front load that and not have it go out until that day. So if they have to, if they have a quiz every Friday and you want to give an announcement every Thursday night, but you don't want to be on your computer every single Thursday putting that announcement in, you can tell it a date and a time, just like you could in Google Classroom. So that's exciting as well.
All right, we're going to publish that announcement, Misty. It's going to come to us on Thursday.
That's so pretty.
Don't panic, Thursday afternoon. All right, let's talk about topics versus modules. So This is just a vocabulary switch, honestly, because in Google Classroom, you were probably used to organizing with topics. In Canvas, you're going to organize with something called modules. They feel a lot the same. So I'm going to come over to the Canvas screen, and modules again are in this course navigation right here. And the modules are these gray bars right here. They are the things that separate my content by how I choose to have it organized as a teacher. I can do a few things with modules. I can collapse them if I'm no longer using them. This was a module at the beginning of the year. I don't need to see all of the pieces of it anymore, so I can collapse it. I can drag them using my my little 8 dots that are my drag button. Anywhere you see these buttons, this 8 section of buttons in Canvas, you can drag and drop things. So if this is a beginning of the year module and I want to keep my most current modules at the top, I'm just going to drag and drop this wherever I want. The other thing I can do, which is neat for students, is I can completely unpublish an entire module. So again, we did this at the beginning of the year. I don't really want students to even be able to get back to it because they don't need the content anymore. I can click that button, and even though each of these items in the module is published for a student to see, they'll no longer see the entire module because I've unpublished it. So just a few features about controls in modules, but modules are exactly like topics. They just separate your content.
I'm muted. Welcome to everything. Hello, Zoom. All right. Creating assignments are pretty similar. So you would go to the classwork tab and then create in Google Classroom, but in Canvas, within a module, this is my favorite way to create an assignment. So I like to organize within my modules. So once I see my modules and I have it organized, a lot of times modules you do like unit 1, or like in math, it'll say week 1, this to this, or however. So I usually will make my modules and then I'll start adding my assignments underneath. And the best way is just to click that plus sign that's on the right side of the module and then click the word assignment. It usually automatically is on assignment. The only extra step is you actually have to click on the word create assignment. Just because Canvas wants to give you the option of reusing an assignment. So that's why it's giving you all of your previous assignments to where you could reuse them, or hey, let's create a new one and then give it an assignment name. And then from there, you'll create it and start adding content to that assignment, just like you would in Google Classroom. So a lot of the vocabulary is the same. You just have one extra step because it, like I said, it wants you to either create a new one or choose from an assignment you've already used. And then it's underneath your module. And again, just like Christy showed, like, oh, wait, that lesson wasn't in Unit 1. I can drag it anywhere I want and put it in any other module. So like if you didn't get to something, I can drag it and put it in a different module later.
And maybe it will let me drag it back. There we go. All right, let's talk about what content you can put inside a module or inside an assignment, excuse me. So in Google Classroom, you typically had your assignment title, your instructions or information about what was attached. And then you could have links and resources. You had a creation button, an upload button, ways to get content to your students. Canvas, very similar. One of the great things about Canvas is you can embed content on the page. So that's obviously really cool because your slides can be on the page and your students can go through them. You can embed video, you can link to things on your pages, you can add text. So however creative or however much you want to be in your assignment content, you can add. So let's go look at one of these examples we have. This assignment page just has objectives. It's got a video as the resource. And then right here, I'm telling my students, hey, you're just going to turn in your paper that I gave you in class. This isn't a digital assignment if you can ignore the Google assignment thing. That's why you have a sandbox. Sandboxes are great. So however you want to get that information to the students who aren't there for that day about your lesson that day, whatever you want to put here, you can. Misty, is there something you want to add?
I do just want to just brag and get you excited because look, that Google assignment fully embedded there. So all of that amazing stuff you've created over the past couple of years in Google, you can completely embed in an assignment in Canvas. So when, just like in Google, where it would make a copy for a student, rename it their name with the name of the thing. So Misty Shea, rhetorical analysis. It'll do the exact same thing in Canvas. It'll open in their Google, they'll do the assignment, and then they'll turn that assignment into Canvas so you can grade it. It's like a big circle and it all works well together. Like, I want you to understand Canvas and Google are actual really good friends. Even though they're two different companies making money different ways, they both understand that they have to work together because it's in the best interest of students and teachers. So I do want you to know all that amazing slides, forms, docs, everything you've made in Google, you can still use in Canvas. I really want to alleviate that stress from your heart because I know you've built some amazing content, and I want you to be able to utilize that.
All
Off
right.
my soapbox. I'm done.
Nope. I knew you'd want to say something. So in the chat, if that just relieved some of your fears, give us a happy emoji or whatever emoji is happy to you. Yes, Canvas and Google are happy Care Bear. They're happy together. They can work together. So
they are. And throwback, if you actually watch Care Bears like I did, I'm not dating myself. I'm old, but it's okay. Who was your favorite bear? Mine was Cheer Bear, like the one with the rainbow on his belly. Its belly.
Cheer Bear.
All right. Just like in Google Classroom, you had the option to create a quiz and a question and a material. So I want to kind of same thing. I want to kind of throw out there that you can still create a quiz in Canvas. A couple extra things you could do. You can add a file. You can add just a URL and an external tool in as a in the underneath the modules. In Google, you called it a material, but in Canvas, you call it a page. So it's kind of the similar look. And the cool thing about a page is it actually has the same feel as an assignment when you're entering that content. I like pages because sometimes there's no assignment connected. I just want to get the kids information. So a lot of times I would actually start a unit with a page and just give them a whole bunch of information and resources and then the assignments after that. So it really depends on your teaching style and kind of how you want to give that information. And I really suggest doing a gallery walk of the teachers in your campus that are using Canvas, because you'll see some super creative ways that they've organized their modules that I even can't. I mean, I'll replicate it. Like I creep on y'all's Canvas all the time. I'm like Big Brother. I want to go in and see the cool things y'all are doing. So definitely see who's using Canvas and some cool ways they're organizing content because they have some pretty creative ways.
And you could also add your favorite Care Bear picture right here too. We can upload images.
You can. It really, it's a lot. And we have our trainings every Tuesday and Thursday. So definitely come and we can definitely dive deeper into the really awesome content you can put in assignments and pages and all the quizzes and questions and discussions. Oh, I'm so sorry. A question in Google is a discussion in Canvas. So see, a lot of this is just vocabulary. So thank you, Christy. You are such a good Vanna.
You're welcome. I'm not answering the chat, so thank you for handling that. All right, so discussion is going to look like this. You're going to get the same rich content editing window that you've seen over and over, and then you have options that control what your students can do. And when your students see it, they're going to have a little reply thread where they can reply. So, and I just want to reiterate what Misty said at the beginning. When you're organizing Canvas, it's almost better at first to begin everything from the module level. So with this plus sign, like Misty mentioned, woo, tongue-tied today, you can add multiple different things. That page that's not an assignment for a grade, obviously, the discussion that's like a classroom question, just a URL, a quiz, an assignment we kind of talked about, or just a file, like you have a PDF you just want your students to have in Unit 1. That's how you would add those things. So this little drop down right here is kind of going to determine what you're adding. Okay. Let's talk about what's next. Scheduling announcements. Scheduling assignments. I think either I typed the header wrong, which very well could have been. So when you
I think I was really excited when I was doing the rainbow coloring. I probably wrote announcements.
We will go in and fix that. Okay, scheduling announcement. So I'm going to go back to this announcement, even though there's really not anything in it. Remember, I'm going to add all my cool lesson stuff right here. I'm going to give it 100 points. I have so many options, way more than we can discuss today, but we want you to know that in Google Classroom, you use your little down arrow over here on the left on the slides, and you chose schedule, and you chose your date and time and scheduled. So very similar in Canvas. Now I'm going to move over to the Canvas platform. Here, if I want this assignment to go to everyone, I'm going to pick my due date. And if I want a time, I can add a time. I think the default time is 11:59 of the day you choose. That didn't look right, so I must have chosen that wrong. Anyway, usually I don't even add the available from or until, but that might be very important to your classroom and you and your students. So that may be something you do. You have that option if you want it. But just like we talked about sections earlier, maybe I don't assign this to everyone. Maybe I'm only assigning to the group that needs additional time. And then when I come down here and pick my next section to assign to, if I click everyone, it's going to say everyone else. Canvas knows that these students are going to get until April 6th, but everyone else is only going to get until April 5th. They better get on their homework. It's due at 11:59 today. So you have lots of options, and this is where you begin to differentiate your assignments for those different class periods that are on the odd and even days, or based on accommodations that your students might have.
I've seen people do the available from because they didn't want a certain group of kids to have an assignment or a quiz until their class period because they didn't want them sharing. So the available from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. is second period or whatever. And so that's where they use that available from time piece.
Absolutely. So it kind of depends on how you've sectioned out or combined your Canvas courses to how you use that piece of the assignments.
So in Canvas, you have the ability, just like in Google, to go in there and grade explicitly in Canvas and in Google. I had a question in the chat. I'm going to address that now. So if you make a Google assignment, you have the choice to either grade it in Google or grade it in Canvas. But I'm going to tell you right now, once you grade it in Speedgrader and Canvas, it has like, I don't want to say 100. I'm so exaggerating. I'm an exaggerator. It has so many more options than Google has. And I'm not trying to pit one against the other, but I do love all of the amazing features that Canvas has in Speedgrader to provide feedback and supplemental materials and all of that stuff for students. So don't just get stuck to the grading in Google for the Google assignment. You could do that, but definitely Speedgrader has some really cool features. So same thing, you're going to click on grades and Speedgrader to grade an assignment, and then you can go by student, and you just click through at the top, student to student, and you can go through, and Christy's going to show you all the really cool ways you could do feedback. So I don't want to go into that because I really want to, but I'm gonna let her do it.
Okay, so this is just a little snippet of what Speedgrader looks like. It will always pop you into a new tab, which I'm not sure what Zoom windows you guys are seeing with what I've shared, but it'll pop you into a new tab. You can navigate through your students here. You can navigate through your students using these arrows. To get back to the Canvas assignment, you can just click right here. One more. To get back into grades. For Canvas, you're going to click right here, but basically you navigate through your students' papers. You're going to give them a grade right here. Pretty amazing, even though I set this assignment to be 0. Okay. All right, feedback. So I shouldn't have closed that. What was I thinking? One of the, like Misty said, one of the amazing things about Speedgrader is its ability to give feedback. So let's drop down to t-test again. So I just gave him 100, or maybe actually I want to give him a 50, but if I give him a 50, I really need to tell him why. I really need to give him feedback. So I've got my text comment box, just like in Google Classroom, I have a private comment box. And I've got private comments in multiple places in Google Classroom, and those are amazing. I love it. And if you have the note attachment, you get 20 notes for free. You can do verbal feedback. That just kind of depends on if you've got that downloaded. But one of the other cool things right here is I can attach feedback. Maybe I had a rubric and he didn't follow it, and that's why he got a 50. So I'm going to attach that rubric again. I'm going to say here, hey, you didn't follow the rubric. Did you get confused? And I'm going to attach it again, or whatever would help this child finish their assignment, this student. I have two other really cool options. I could actually do media feedback. So this is really neat. Canvas has a built-in media recorder, and I can be the teacher and click start recording and give that student verbal and visual feedback on their assignment, and I can save, and then that is attached to that assignment, and that student gets a link saying your teacher's left you feedback, and they can watch it. The other thing I can do with this media recorder is I can do speech to text feedback, so I can just verbally speak it and then insert it into the assignment. Once I click submit, that student's notified that their paper's been graded based on the notifications they've set in Canvas, and that they have feedback on the assignment if you've given feedback. So really cool stuff. In the chat, I want you to put if you think you might use audio or video feedback for students' papers. Like, would that make you faster? Would it help you connect with that student in a way that maybe you haven't before when you're returning their work? So give us a second and give us some feedback about the audio and video feedback in Speedgrader.
All right, stay there, Christy. Don't X out.
Don't move. Don't move.
Okay. All right, so same in Google Classroom, you were able to return an assignment to a student. So he got a 50, and I need to return it to him so that he can work on it again. So the same thing in Speedgrader. The only thing is, and I think Google actually made you do this too, you had to comment. You have to give them some kind of feedback before you can return an assignment. The actual return assignment button does not show until you've added a comment and then submitted it, and then you get that option for reassigning the assignment.
I'm sorry, Missy, I was not following you.
So add a comment, tell him why he got a 50. Click submit. And then you have the option, maybe because you already submitted, then the option usually comes back for resubmitting it and giving it back to, returning it. You'll see it in our Care Bear picture over here. It comes underneath the tools to reassign the assignment.
Very cool. I learned something today. All right. Due dates and to do. So on Google Classroom, in the stream, you had an upcoming box, what things were going to be due upcoming, and you could click view all and see all of them. Also, under classwork, your students could sort their assignments by assigned, missing, or done. So you had these filters that were really cool, really cool. In Canvas, this is going to show on the home page of the class, and I don't know that this class is going to have very many. Oh, I do have a to-do. Because I'm the teacher of the class, my to-do is to grade. So the students' to-dos are going to live right here. If there's a due date, you're going to see that due date sitting right there under the assignment. There's going to be a link to get to the assignment. And then the students are also going to have a section called recent feedback. So if Misty as the teacher has left feedback on the assignment, it will live right there. And again, they can click to get straight to it. Now in Canvas under modules, depending on how you work your modules, the students might see these little circles and check marks, and a check mark means that the student has submitted that assignment, whereas the circle means it's not been submitted yet. So again, that's kind of dependent on how you give your modules prerequisites. So that's kind of level 2, but we do want you to know that that's an option and can be visually helpful for students.
Absolutely. I actually like that when I want them to watch a video and I want to ensure they watch that video before they did the assignment. So I have those little check boxes that they see, oh, I see you watched the video first. Good job. So it helps me as a teacher as well. So I love the option to copy and reuse assignments. I love the ability to reuse, especially when you are copying your course from the previous year. So to be able to click on an assignment like you did in Google and reuse, you have the ability to do that as well. Or one of my favorites is I have this exact thing at the beginning of every unit. So it's nice to just copy that same thing, change a couple of little things on it, and keep going. So I actually copy a whole lot. I make copies a lot because I don't want to redo the work. I'm just going to have to change a couple of things at the end. I'm all about working smarter and not harder. Maybe I'm a little lazy. I don't even know, but the copy feature is really awesome. And you have a couple of different places to do that. You can do it in the assignment. Like when we create the assignment, you could just click on the actual name of the assignment you've already made. Or if you in modules, you can click on the 3 dots and there's a copy there as well. So it's really useful.
Yeah, I'm going to show those real quick, Missy, if you don't mind. So
please.
We finished unit 1. We're moving on to unit 2. We'll pretend this is unit 2. I'm going to click the add button. I'm going to choose an assignment, and I'm going to come down here and look for, I want the students to do this assignment every time we have a unit. So I'm just going to add it. So basically I've just copied the assignment from here and added it here. And then like Misty mentioned, if I want to send it to a different course, maybe I'm one of those teachers that teaches English 3 and English 4, but this assignment is basic enough that it works for both groups, I can copy to, and then I'm going to get a list of my courses and I can send this to any course. And in addition, I can send it to any module within that course. So it's a pretty good copy system, just pushing it out to where you want it to go. Oops, Misty, I think I accidentally clicked twice. There we go.
This is a very large one of the major reasons we Canvas was chosen is the access parents have. So in Google Classroom, parents get guardian email summaries. So they get missing work summaries, upcoming work, and class activities. But the cool thing in Canvas is once a parent signs up as an observer account, they can actually see everything, your assignment instructions, the upcoming work. They can actually go and see your Canvas instance like it is. No, they don't see any student information. They only have access to their students. So they only see what their student sees. They can see if they've turned in work, if they've only completed 50% of an assignment, if there's only 3 check boxes. So it's really great for parents, along with that Texas bill that says we have to be completely transparent with what we're teaching and what resources we're giving to students. So this aids in that. They're able to see exactly what's in your Canvas course. And it also helps you as a teacher of it's in my Canvas course, and the parent can see that as well. So that's really great for them to see, oh, look, Junior, it's there and you didn't complete it. So that full transparency with parents. And I really do think this is going to be a huge relief for you as a teacher, especially coming off of the past couple of years. I think it's going to help a whole lot. And we have instructions on how parents join and everything, and videos. We have all the things that you can send them.
Yes, we do. All right, accessibility. So in Chrome, we've had Google Read and Write or Read and Write as an extension, and you still have it in Chrome. You are free to use Read and Write for any accessibility needs that you have. However, Canvas has a pretty cool accessibility feature built in as well. It's called Immersive Reader. Let me get on one of these pages that actually has. Let me see what this one has on it. Nope, I don't think it's going to read a Google slide. Let me go back to this LTI one. All right, so Immersive Reader lives. Oops, Misty, I don't see my Immersive Reader button. Am I missing it?
It's student view.
Oh, thank you. It's good to train with a friend. Oh, I still don't see it.
And you have to have a lot of tech. Well,
oh, I bet. Well, All right, so you're just going to have to trust us on this one. Every page should. This is a Edtech account, and I'm not sure if it's a full Canvas account. It's more of a place where we can play and show things. Every page except quizzes will have an immersive reader button right here. And when you click it, it will do exactly almost all of the same things Read and Write does. It'll read a page. You can control your color. You can control the lines that show. You can break words apart into syllables. You can choose nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. So it has a picture dictionary. So all of those accessibility features you're used to in Google Read and Write are built straight into Canvas, except on quizzes. So it's a great feature. You're going to love it. The students will love it if they need those features. And it's nice to have them built in so that you don't have to do extra accommodations and modifications for all of those students.
And if you are curious, if you just Google Immersive Reader, this video is the top one that shows. Microsoft is very proud of it. They've done a really, and it translates into so many different languages. Like we were looking at them yesterday and I'm like, I don't even know. It's like 80 plus, like every language you can think of, and like Spanish and this like in all the different iterations of that language as well. So not just, oh, you've got one English, yay. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I'm pretty impressed with Immersive Reader.
Yeah, so accommodations for those English language learners as well, which is really cool. All right, so that's the end of our content comparison. What we want to know from you guys now is, now that you've seen the comparison, did your confidence level change at all on a scale of 1 to 5? If you started at a 1, have you changed? Have you moved up a little thinking, okay, I have a good foundational picture of what this might look like. I think I can handle this next year if you're a high school teacher. If you did change, if you'll let us know in the chat, we would love to know that. Again, we're always here to support you. Send us a tech ticket, email us edtech@kellerisd.com, and I'll let Missy start all of that.
edtech@kellerisd.net.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have our kellerisd.net/KIC page, which has a lot of our trainings on it. However, right now, which didn't you put on our training schedule, Christy, for later? So I can save that. I won't talk later. I won't talk about it right now. We do have additional support for you on every Tuesday and Thursday after school. But we have our KIC site, which any program we support, we have created Wakelet things for, like we've got a lot of curated a lot of resources for you, our slide decks, our videos, our YouTube playlist, all that's on there. We're on social media and we blast out a lot of micro learning. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then you could always come back to this, and we have a lot of other videos on Canvas and other educational tools on our YouTube channel, KIC Educational Technology. So please, 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 I'll come back to that, especially our YouTube. A lot of our videos live on there. And like I said, we've done quite a few Canvas ones that might get you acclimated to it.
Thanks, you guys, for putting your new level in the chat. It's good to see a couple of you moved. And yes, we completely understand that you can't really know if you moved until you get in and start working on it. So we get that. We do want you to know that we are training throughout the spring and summer. We'll add July dates as April falls off the page. But we are training throughout the spring and summer for Canvas. So you're welcome to come no matter what grade level you are. We are focusing on high school teachers because that's where the rollout's happening next year. So, but again, if you want to join, come join one of our classes. We are doing also every class asynchronously. If that's your jam, we'd love for you to join in one of the asynchronous classes at your own pace and your own place.
And then if you join an asynchronous class, but you still want to come in and ask questions, come to one of our in-person nights. I only had one person the other night. She and I sat down and we built her entire Canvas course together. So she was pro-com. We opened her Google Classroom on this side, Canvas on the other, and we just made all the modules. So we took the topics and brought them over to modules. And then we sit there and we started adding content. So she had every single thing pretty much moved over. And so I told her the next time if she comes and she's the only one, we're going to make it pretty. So we got it done. It's an hour and a half, right, Christy?
Yeah.
We moved her entire Google course for the entire semester over in 1 hour and a half time. So we're here to support you. You are not on your own. Like, let us help you.
I have a question, Misty, but none of our kids were in that class because she doesn't know who she's going to have rostered to her next year.
So we built her entire course in a sandbox, and just like Google, you can take one course and completely copy it over to the courses that Keller will make you. So I really, really recommend getting in a sandbox right now. And I put in the chat, I put a link to how to create a sandbox course. Get in a sandbox course and just start creating and putting your stuff slowly. If you started it now, it's not going to be as daunting. And August, when you have all the PD, I've got to go do that. I need to do my 30 hours of this don't touch blood videos and all of that stuff. You're going to be so busy and tired. And still in summertime. So definitely utilize this time, little bits here and there, but every Tuesday, Thursday night, we're at KCAL and we would love to have you there.
All right, we've got the link showing for the EQ form. So go ahead and take a picture of that link. Go ahead and type the bit.ly in to another tab. We're also adding it to the chat right now. I think I did that. Oh, I did it wrong, Misty. It didn't. Oh, it did make the link. Yay, I did it right. All right. So I hopefully made that a link in the chat so you can click straight from the chat and have that open up in a new tab for you. You won't have to type anything. Fill out that form in the next 2 hours for us and we will grant your credit tomorrow. Also, if you want these slides, the bit.ly for those is bit.ly/compare Canvas and GC. And I'm
going to put that in the chat.
Thank you. We will upload this to our KIC site as well in the next week or two so that those slides will live there or be linked there at the bottom in the Wakelet. So you don't really have to memorize that or remember it. Just look in a few days at the KIC page under Canvas and you'll find those slides there somewhere. So again, bit.ly/kickstart2223 for the EQ form. If you'll fill that out tonight, we would appreciate it. And then the other bit.ly is for the slides that we had today. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are just past our 45 minutes, so we will say good night. And again, reach out to us if you need anything. We're happy to help.